Hey everyone, I'm Odette Maimoni, and today I'm going to show you how to use calculation groups in Power BI. If you're tired repeating your logic again and again, calculation group is your solution. I'm going to show you how to create it step by step and when it's better to use fields parameter. Let's start.
Odette Maimoni.
Okay, so I'm here in the Power BI desktop, and what I want to show you right now is why to use calculation. Why even think about that? So if you can see, I created these measures. This measure is very basic. It's basically doing sum of the orders. And this is the measure that do the same. Sum, but for sales. For each one of these measures, I created running total measure that doing the same logic. You can see this running total logic is applying for the order measure and also the same logic applying for sales. As we know, as developers, we must think efficient. If we can see that we are repeating ourselves, it means we are working inefficient. Until calculation group come to the picture, this is the way that we worked in Power BI because we didn't have any other solution. But when calculation groups comes, this feature allow us to work efficient with basic one layer that allow us to write all of the logic one time and then reuse it again and again. I want to show you how we work until calculation group come to the picture because this feature is very useful. The feature beside calculation group, we have fields parameter. If we don't know how to use it, you must know that because as a Power BI developer, this feature is useful for user to control what they want to see right now. They allow the user to pick which of the measure or which of the column they want to see. If you don't know how to use it, I created tutorial that explained all of the use of this feature. So I created this measure list that this is a field parameter that take all of the measure that I want the user to be able to choose and group them together. This still not that efficient because as you can see, if I want to create more measure that doing the same logic, I have to create it again and again. But this feature is useful because if I put this line chart and I will choose some x-axis. For that, I will just drag this measure list to the y. You can see all of the measure and all of the measures, but if I will also put it in a slicer, it will allow the user to choose which measure he wants to see right now, and if he wants to see all of them or some of them. This is very useful solution, and some of the times it's even better to use this instead of calculation. I will touch that. I will talk about these cases. Okay, so this is the fields parameters, but today I'm going to show you how to use calculation groups. Calculation groups that allow us to create some logic layer that we can repeat and use it again. Okay, so I will delete this line chart and I will go to this area of model view. Here we can see we have this button calculation group. Also, we can see if we are on the model, we can see here the calculation groups. When we create new calculation group, it will be shown here. Okay, so I click on calculation group and you can see it created automatically all of these folders for us. And also we have this calculation item with selected measure. This is basically the measure that we are going to use inside the calculation. You will see how it works. So I have this calculation item. I will keep it as it is. If you like my videos, this is your time to subscribe my channel. Thank you. And I want to create new logic, new calculation inside this calculation group. So I will right click on that and I will click on new calculation item. This calculation item will be the running total. how it works, I'm basically copy the logic that I used here. And instead of using the measure name, I will use this selected measure. So it means we are not creating it for specific measure. We can use it to any measure that we want, any measure that can be able to use this logic, obviously. So if I put this one, it means that it will do to the measure that we choose this logic. So sometimes I can use it for orders, sometimes I can use it for sales, and for whatever measure I want. And as you understand, this is the measure that we are using. So it means that we keep calculation item for the measure to return the value that without any calculation besides what it already have. So I have this calculation group. I can give it a name. So I will go to the report view now. So you can see it created this calculation. How I use it? It's very, very simple right now. So I will use the same line chart that I used before with the fields parameter. I will keep the same here in the X. And for the Y, I will choose only orders and sales. Okay? But if I want to use also orders running total and sales running total, I don't have to create these measures. What I can do is to put the slicer inside my canvas. And here I'm choosing the calculation group. And here I can choose between of these options. It means running total showing the running total of the measure that I put here. Also, if I want to see the calculations as they are, I mean the orders and the sales, I can choose this. Also, what makes it even more efficient, this calculation group, this slicer, will affect each of the visual that I'm showing here. So also showing the measure in other visual, you can see that this calculation group affecting each of the visuals in the screen. So that is what basically it helps us to work efficiently with measures, to keep the logic in one area. So if I want to change something, it will change for each of the measures, and I don't have to walk and go through each of the measures. Also, very useful if we work with time measures. I mean, the measure that we are comparing a measure to other period like year to date, month to date, and we using the same logic again and again. So calculation groups is very good feature, but sometimes it's better to use parameter fields. Why? Because sometimes, because reality is not as works as they expect us to work as best practice. If even if we're using the same logic, sometimes we have to adjust some of the measure, and calculation group is very limited. We have to think how to change something without it affect everything. Also, what I experienced lately, that field parameter work better as when we looking at performance when we compare it to calculation group. Why is that? Right now, you didn't see any different when I chose the field parameter or the calculation group. It works very fast because the data is small and it's nothing for the Power BI to run it. But if you come to work with millions and millions of rows, you have to think about how it affects performance, and it does affect. And why is that? Because each of the measure is saved in the Power BI engine, runs the calculation inside the measure and save all of the values that can be returned from the measure in the engine as a cache. And then when we run it in the Power BI, it works fast and smooth. with calculation groups doesn't know which of the measures we are going to use for this logic. So it doesn't save any of the options that can return from the logic. It means that it does the calculation live when we are choosing this. So it means that if Power BI, if you're using very big, very large model with millions more of rows, it maybe affect your performance. So keep in mind that this is what it does. I learned it very recently when I choose to replace calculation group with field parameter. It works faster. I mean, like very, very faster than calculation group. So keep in mind that maybe if your data is large, it will cause a performance issue. And just compare and see how which of the features works for you. So this is the calculation group, guys. I hope it was clear. And if you have any questions, just write for me in the comments. Thank you, guys. This is it. If you have any questions, you can write me in the comments and I will answer you. Bye bye. See you in my next video.